welcome to a day in the life of an agency owner, Miami edition. I flew part of my team out to Miami for a really cool bonding experience, as well as to shoot some content and really do some cool stuff here. So we're gonna be taking you along, not only my day, but their day as well. We're gonna be sharing things like building a sales team. I'm also gonna be sharing sales tips. We're also gonna be sharing how we're building landing pages for our clients, a little bit of lifestyle, and a lot more. So make sure to stick around till the end. Currently it's around 7 a.m. Already had a shower. I'm gonna get into my meditation and journaling, and then we're gonna go for a little coffee walk and talk a little bit about what the day ahead of us looks like. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I've been talking about journaling for the past 2 years on my TikTok and my YouTube, and a lot of people ask me how that looks like. Essentially, it's very simple, right? What I do is I essentially reflect on yesterday, right? What went well, what I could have done better, and then I kind of write my intention for the day, how I want to show up in the day. After I've done that, which is typically 2-3 paragraphs of writing, I will go ahead and write one thing that I'm grateful for, and then 3 things, essentially my goals, my affirmations for this year, to keep them top of mind awareness, right? And so that's how I journal. It's very simple, but it also helps me get my creative juices flowing in the morning. So it's a habit that I highly, highly recommend. With that being said, let's get right into the coffee morning walk with the team. Coffee is served, and what I want to talk a little bit about is something that I'm implementing in my business right now, which is time constraints. And the reason why I think it's super important is because it gets to a point in your business that sometimes doing less is actually more. And one of the things that I found myself stretching out my day and just trying to fit as much in, right? But there's a principle, I'm not sure what the name is, but there's a principle called, whatever the name is, we'll introduce it on the screen, I forgot the name, but it states that work takes the time you allow it to take. So one of the things I'm experimenting with is shortening my day, putting time constraints. And so for example, I'll tell myself, look, I'm gonna work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And after 4 p.m. I cannot do any more work. And that's actually allowing me to, number one, get clear on my highest leverage activities, right? What are the things that I should be spending my time doing that only I can do, right? The rest I'll delegate, I'll automate, or I should eliminate, right? And the other thing that it allows me to do is to focus on other areas of life, like taking my spiritual life to the next level. Yes, I'm meditating, yes, I'm doing all this spiritual work, but there's something about, spending a little bit more time there. Also my physical life and, traveling, etc., etc. I'm experimenting with this. I think oftentimes in the entrepreneurial world, we get stuck on doing more and sometimes doing less, and getting more creative with what you do on those hours that you are working actually allows you to get clear on what it is that you truly should be spending your time doing. There's so many agency owners that spend, 6 to 8 hours a day banging out hundreds of cold emails, doing inefficient activities because they don't think, how can I automate the system? How can I systemize the system? And it's not productive, right? It's not about the hours that you work, it's about what you do with those hours. So that's a little bit of a rant on time constraints, how I'm looking at work, especially going into the summer season, right? Yes, there are going to be periods of my life, like for example winter, where I do put in those 10 to 12 hour days, but something definitely worth experimenting with. And with that being said, let's go into the next bit. We're back at home after the coffee walk. I haven't had coffee in a while actually, probably like a little bit over a week. I really need the coffee today because yesterday we went out to dinner, got back pretty late. I woke up pretty early today. And there's something about getting some sun in as well in the morning, and that coffee plus sun walk just absolutely key. But we talked a little bit just now about time constraints and the way I'm thinking about work right now. And so right now from 8 to 2 p.m. is my zone of genius, is where I'm investing, where I'm going deep work, and I'm investing my time into the highest leverage activities, really where I can move the needle forward the most, right, in my companies. And that for me, what I've determined are my highest leverage activities are, number one, managing, right, and communicating with my team. So I'll go ahead, check Slack. We have a bunch of huddles going on during the day. For example, the sales team huddle, which I'll be talking about that whole experience of building out a sales team, a high-performing sales team. But essentially, my 3 core highest leverage activities are, number one, communication and managing my team. So huddles, Slack, making sure that everyone is, on their purpose, on their drive that day. Then also sales calls, right? So all the calls that we're booking in, all the setting that my team is doing, I'm jumping on a bunch of those sales calls to close them. Obviously, we do have other people taking those sales calls as well, but that is one of the things that I've determined is one of my highest leverage activities that I can do. And finally, especially on the agency front, we have the content creative direction. And so essentially what that means is
getting ideas for the content that we want to shoot. Right now, our marketing strategy is, mostly purely organic, right? And so I think of ideas of the content that we want to create. We batch a lot of content, and not only that, but I'm getting my team members involved, right? So Tal, for example, holding the camera actually shoots a lot of content, records a lot of content for my second channel, as well as other creative mediums, and so do I. So those are the 3 things that I'm focused on through my deep work block, and those are the things that I'm going to be focusing on for the next 4 hours or so.
So we've got Carlos, who's actually my brother, and the CTO at ecom.io and a few other of my companies. And Carlos, what are you working on?
So I'm working on this new landing page for a client, and we're doing some pretty cool stuff. We've got this new system that generates these amazing websites, blazing fast, which is super important for bounce rate, and that usually translates into users spending more time on our website, and essentially at the end of the day, higher conversion rates.
What platform? What do you use?
So we're using a framework called Gatsby.
Show us a little bit about, show us the code a little bit.
Yeah, so the code is actually on a thing called React, which was created by Facebook. That's just how I write my code. But yeah, the important thing is Gatsby, which basically generates the pages that I'm building. When I deploy the website, what that does is that the pages are already loaded, and so that they are served to the user super fast, which is super important because every millisecond that it takes for the page to load, you lose users, right? There's a correlation between the page load time and the bounce rate. So that's super important. And the second thing is that because the web pages are already built, that helps us a lot with our SEO. And now that Google is implementing it's ranking the pages also according to their load time, this is super important as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Carlos doesn't do that many calls, but he is managing our customer support as well for our own ecom brands. One of the things about us is that not only do we do advertising for other clients, but we actually have our own ecom brand. So we're in the trenches spending our own money, putting our own money online, and Carlos is managing that customer support lead.
Exactly. Every morning I jump on a call with our customer support lead, and I get to hear all about what our customers are saying.
What are some of the KPIs that you're looking at?
So I'm looking at basically what people are saying about the product and the landing pages, right? Whether there's a lot of friction, if a lot of people say that it takes too long to sign up, then we reduce the clicks and make it simpler. For example, for users to sign up to our funnel.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep crushing it. We'll speak soon.
Yeah.
We have a wild Tal Swicegood.
Hey, what's up, Jaime?
How are you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Just prepping up for a coaching call in a few, and then I also about to talk to my nutrition coach here in a second.
So Tal is actually the head supporting coach at my education company, and also actively running a successful agency. Let's get into your nutrition coach call, because I think a lot of people can find value in your thinking behind it. So,
just got off a call with my nutrition coach, who's really more than a nutrition coach, really a lifestyle sort of coach. Great guy. He talks me through the best ways that I can just perform at 100%. I mean, being involved in 2 very successful companies, it's it can be a challenge. But if you have the right routines, the right systems in your life, if you're fueling your body in the right way, fueling your mind in the right way, it definitely helps. It definitely makes it more manageable. Like, one of the biggest things I see agency owners struggling with is consistency. Not quitting, essentially. Quitting is literally like I hate quitters, because I was a quitter for a long time. I don't hate them. It's like I don't have any sympathy for people that quit. Again, everyone has their own circumstance, but I really view that, when I say that, I really view it from a perspective of myself. Everyone has their own situations, but for me, I just know that I quit so often throughout the years, just because things got hard. So yeah, it's very important to me to make sure that I keep my mind very sharp. I sleep well, diet well, eat well, and really give myself no excuse when it comes to performing. Yeah, at this point, I think I'm gonna head back in. Got a coaching call starting here in a few minutes, and then hopefully, with any luck, I can convince Jaime and Carlos to go skydiving with me. We'll see. I don't know. They don't seem very interested in it.
All right, so we are in the bikes. We've got Carlos. Hey. And yeah, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna go. First, we're gonna go muscle beach, right? No, muscle gym, right? And we're gonna hit some iron, and then we're gonna take a little swim. And then what else are we gonna do?
Grab some lunch.
Maybe. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh yes, get it with the back.
Okay, 60. Look at this ride. I need to teach you a thing or two about Arkansas fashion, man. This is it right here.
Skirt. We just got back from the beach. Carlos, how was it? Had a nice workout.
It's very sunny.
Roll the clips of the workout. We are back, and now we're gonna go ahead and record 2 videos. What are we talking about, Tal?
Talking about SMMA, if you can do it in 2022. Probably some other spicier stuff.
We're also talking about what not to do. We're talking about what are the major mistakes that people are making when starting a social media marketing agency, and also what are some of the tips, what is some of the advice that we see thrown around in the space that we don't really agree with. So we're gonna talk all about that. It's gonna be a very juicy one. Mics are ready, mobile studio set up, and let's go right into it. All right, so a little change in outfit so that the audience doesn't realize that we're recording back to back. They probably do, but we're gonna go ahead and get straight into the second video, keeping the energy high with a little bit of MCT oil plus coffee plus grass-fed butter, top drink. And yeah, let's get right into it. Got Carlos on the pod now. We're gonna be talking about tracking. He's the wizard behind it all. The CTO at School of Ecom. Well, at School of Ecom, all my companies essentially. And we've got Tal, who is just, who are you?
Who am I? I'm Trad's dad.
All right, he's a 23-year-old successful entrepreneur / dad.
Yeah. We're going across the river. We're gonna go to a penthouse in Brickell.
Penthouse? Are you sure about that?
It better be a penthouse.
Let's get into the penthouse. We've just arrived at the second HQ. We're gonna be working from here for the next 4 to 5 days. There's a table area there, so the CTO, my brother, and the COO, Tal, we're gonna be working from there for the next 4 or 5 days. We are here in Brickell. So it's a little bit different to South Beach. There's probably going to be a little bit more nightlife, a little bit more, going out to restaurants, etc., etc. South Beach was a little bit more nature, beach, etc., etc. But excited, Tal?
Excited to do this, Jaime.
Let's get it.
Brickell, Miami. Look at that beautiful view.
Let's get it. The first thing that we are going to do, my trusted gallon of water, Tal and myself, we're going to be jumping on the sales huddle. Building a sales team over the past few months has been quite an eye-opening experience, to say the least. It's been very rewarding, it's been challenging as well, and there's 2 components that I've come to realize that need to be mastered in order to create a very high-performing sales team, which is the case with what we've built. And the first aspect is the tech, which we're going to be talking about in just a second, and the second aspect is the people. So let's talk a little bit about the tech that we built, which we're pretty proud of. So this is the tech. We built a really cool Notion ecosystem. We can't show you too much yet. Probably our students are going to get a very cool peek at it, but essentially, what would you say is really cool about the system that we built?
Notion is just so flexible, so you can pretty much use it to do anything. I run my agency on it. We run our sales team through it, so it's a really great piece of tool. If you haven't ever heard of Notion, go check it out. Definitely.
And we've built some pretty cool automations. We've got calls feeding in from Calendly automatically into a calendar view, into a calendar CRM that we've created. We've got Slack automations as well, meaning that when a call is booked, we have Slack messages going on. And a bunch of other really cool stuff. And that's one of the things that I've realized, that if the tech is not super optimized, if you're just doing the people side of things, which I'll talk about in just a second, if the tech is not optimized, the team is not going to run as efficiently. So we're very proud of the tech that we've created. It's constantly being optimized, constantly being iterated. A lot of the times we build tech, we build ecosystems on Notion, and then they turn out to be not as good as we thought, because in implementation things change, and then we have to readjust, we have to optimize, get feedback from the team. But yeah, we've got a pretty solid spot. We're booking in around 5 to 10 calls a day, just purely organically right now. So, you know, it requires a little bit of juggling things and a lot of
a really good system.
Yes, 100%. So let's talk a little bit about the people. On the people front, I've come to realize that running a sales team it cannot be super hands-on, right? It's not like, you know, for example, with an agency, you can be very hands-off with communication and reporting, for example. With in the mentorship, I talk about how you can actually delegate, you can streamline a lot of the communication and reporting with your clients. But when it comes to a sales team, a high-performing sales team, you have to be hands-on, especially at the start, to get feedback from sellers, to get feedback from closers, to see how, you know, things are moving, right? Because at the end of the day, it's top-line revenue we're talking about, right? And so, you know, I definitely see the value of a sales manager in the next few weeks, potentially a month or so, to handle a lot of the operations and to handle a lot of the managing, because it is quite hands-on. But for the past few months, it's just been a constant back and forth. Tal, you know, Carlos, myself, the sellers, the closers that we have in the team, a constant back and forth of, you know, what's going on, and it's been cool. It's been cool. I like the frantic energy. I like the, you know, it's exciting, but definitely needs quite a bit of management, because there's a lot of moving parts. You know, the sellers setting appointments, and tracking those appointments and following up with those appointments, the closers closing those appointments, getting feedback on those sales calls, you know, nurturing those people. The sales manager, you know, looking at the data, which is currently me, and as well as Tal does a bit of the managing. So the people component is massive, and if the tech is good but the people component is not good, you know, it's really not going to work. Another thing that is massive, and the reason why we do a sales huddle every single day with our sales team, is the energy levels, right? So they have to be pumped, they have to be energetic. You know, you want to make sure that you check in with them, to make sure that, you know, they're gonna have a really productive day, because as I mentioned, we're talking about top line revenue, and it's a really high revenue generating activity. So that's a little bit about the sales team.
We're now going to dinner.
Check this bad boy out.
We are putting a wrap on this vlog. We're heading over to dinner. Yeah, we're going to this place called Joya Beach, right? Yeah. We're gonna have a Hoya Beach. Okay, Hoya Beach. We're gonna have a nice dinner there. The team. We might see one of our students there as well. We're probably gonna do a meetup also in Miami with the students, which is gonna be really, really dope. It's always great to see our clients from all over the world. But with that being said, I just want to say a few words on, you know, the company trip and what the trip has been like so far. I underestimated how powerful a company trip, a bonding trip can be. I thought it was like one of these corporate-y things that people did just for fun and just to get, but no, it was actually a really cool experience. I think we got to bond quite a lot. It was Tal's first time meeting Carlos, right?
It was, yeah. That's right.
What do you guys think of each other?
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I like him, you know?
He's all right. Yeah. And no, I bonded with Tal a lot more as well, because this was the second time meeting him in person. We met at the London event, but you know, that was like a few days, right? And yeah, also with my bro, because we haven't, you know, lived together for a while, so that was really cool as well. So yeah, you know, would I recommend it if you're in the position with your business where you can do this sort of stuff, and you know, you don't have to ball out, you don't have to go like to Miami, New York. You could do this at a smaller scale, and I think it's insanely valuable. In fact, I think the next trip we'll do is probably going to be, you know, just like in nature, just, you know, like not super like fancy or anything like that, but yeah, super valuable experience. Would definitely recommend. I think it's been quite productive. You know, like, have we gotten as much work done as we would have back in our HQ? Probably not, but it's a different type of productivity. You know, it's about bonding, it's about, you know, talking business, making cool connections. We've met a bunch of really cool people as well during the trip. You know, we've gone to like a Prada event, like a Vogue event. So I'm super grateful for the people that I've met so far in this trip. And any final words that you guys want to say?
South Beach is the plan. Brickell is great for going out. So Brickell for the weekend, South Beach for the week.
Oh yeah, the beach is awesome. You know, definitely worth coming back. And yeah.
And with that being said, if you've enjoyed the video, go ahead and smash the like button. And if you want to watch more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. I've also got a free Facebook mastermind where I'm going live there with free value that I'm not posting anywhere else. So there's going to be a link in the description for that too. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Miss you, Miami. the blooper reel.